Hey everyone, it's time for a video. Today I'm going to have just tool comments, random ones about these Stahlwille pliers. Some time ago I had a Mr. Worker tool haul and I picked these up, showed them a little bit, talked about them some. I'm going to go to them a little bit more depth, not too much, but you know, some. Without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so this is the packaging. Pretty straightforward stuff. Just a simple plastic bag, but it works. Part number on this, 65355-280. 280 represents the length of the pliers, and I'll come back to that in a minute. I've already opened them up and looked at them. If you saw the tool haul video, you saw that I did that. Let's see. So they have a kind of a plastic resin handle. It's kind of rough. It's not smooth like these Knipex are. Kind of more of a plastic dip kind of handle you might see. It's got, you know, pretty decent texture. It does, smell that, have a nice little rubber smell. Yeah, kind of like a new tire or something. So I don't know if that's any particular indication of what this type of resin or plastic or rubbery kind of material is, but that's what it is. It's comfortable though. I think it's probably work out pretty well. I'm not really sure though in terms of, you know, how well they'll do over the long term, but you know, only time will tell with that. Let's see. One thing of interest is, and let me see, I'll zoom down here and I'll try to make sure that I'm focused in, is if you notice the plastic on the handle doesn't go all the way up to this kind of shoulder on the edge of the pliers, which, you know, kind of for the head and the jaws. But that's not really any different. Like if you look at these Knipex, it's the same kind of thing. It's just they have kind of a curved cutout, which makes it look a little different. But roughly, it's the same idea. And I haven't seen any other pliers that look any different than that for that. So I guess it's just the way they're made. Let's see. On here, of course, it's got the part number, and then Stahlwille, and then made in Germany in the center. Pretty good etching, pretty crisp and clean, nothing really special about it. I don't really think this would go away. I mean, unless you're going and like scraping something, I think it'll probably stand there pretty well. Other things of interest, it's got this little space here and here where it's polished. The grinder marks are this way, perpendicular to the length of the tool. Both sides. It's not quite as shiny on this one. It's, according to what I've read, they're chromed. I will say one interesting thing, that this chrome is not quite the same as the chrome you might see on, say, their this wrench here, for example. So it's similar, but it's not quite the same. Just kind of a point of information, I guess, something to note about them. Like I said, it's smooth here where they've ground it, but up here it's rough. It's kind of like maybe feeling about the same as what's on the handle, but that's just the way they've done it. It gets rougher, especially here in the bend. Now, let's see, before I go any further, let's do a couple of quick dimension things. As I mentioned before, it's 280 millimeters long according to the numbers. You can actually go and look at it. Let's see here. Let me zoom out for a second. And so you can see that. And if you look at it, you'll see roughly 280 millimeters. This cross piece here is around 60 millimeters. And if you open up the jaws, so when you open it up, that's about where it opens with no resistance. And that roughly ends up being about an inch, maybe a little over an inch, more like 27 millimeters. And then with resistance, you open it up all the way to that. That's the max open of the jaw, max opening width. That's a little over 2 inches, about 55 millimeters. So that's pretty straightforward in terms of expectation, I guess. The bend itself is roughly 45 degrees. As you can tell, pretty straightforward. Nothing really unexpected there. So let me zoom back down because I can show you the inside of the jaws. Make sure you're in focus here. All right, so there is tooth marks. Let's see if I can get it in here so you can see it. Teeth start here, right at the bend, and they run all the way to the tip. And both sides, it's pretty fine. Hopefully you can see that. And of some interest, there's a little bit of kind of roughness on these parts, but nothing really extreme. I would say, given that these run kind of, the teeth marks run perpendicular to how the direction of the jaw lengthwise, I would guess that they probably cut those in before they bent it, because that would be kind of probably difficult to do, a bend. It's probably easier manufacturing wise to, with this metal very soft, cut the teeth and then bend it and harden them. That's just a guess, but I would say that's probably how they made them. They feel pretty good in the hand. Oh yeah, let me weigh them, because why not? It's probably pretty interesting how much these weigh. And in terms of grams, they weigh 273 grams, so not too bad. They're pretty light. They're not terribly heavy, but they're not, you know, they certainly don't feel flimsy at all. They feel pretty well made in the hand. So of course I got this nice open space, and you know, I would say if I'm going to open them, I'm going to use, this is just me, I'm going to use kind of like a grip like this to open and close them. You wouldn't grip up here, you know, which of course right here you'd have a pinch if you tried that. I mean, honestly, if you're going to grip them up this tight, you might as well use a shorter pair like these Knipics, or, you know, whatever you own. So in that regard, it's pretty decent. Now, you know, the length is nice, and if you need to get in somewhere and really get a good grip into something, you know, you can certainly do it with these and grab something pretty well. As I said in the tool video, the tool haul video for this, when I first displayed this, I really didn't expect to use bent nose. I only use like straight nose, like these Knipics or this old pair of Craftsman or whatnot. It never occurred to me to get any bent nose, and I never really seemed to have a need for them. And then I picked up a pair of NWS pliers, which I'm going to cover in a separate video. And I found that I used them in a number of situations, especially when you're doing car work. It gets in really handy to be able to go in kind of like at this angle and grab something. It's just handy to have. And I saw these for a good deal, and I picked them up. Let's see, other things to say. Oh, they've got the polishing here on the side, which is kind of interesting. That it's kind of like this section here is all polished somewhat. It's not like super polished, but it's pretty smooth, and it's certainly not rough like these are. In terms of quality, I think they're excellent. I don't really have any complaints. The teeth go together well. Probably can't tell that too well, and for the most part, I've always seen most pairs of pliers, they always usually have like one jaw is like maybe a little bit thicker than the other, but not really terribly so on these. They're solid, nice. Pretty happy with them, honestly. Really haven't had a chance to use them much, but I'll get to that. And if there's any, I expect they'll be just fine. I don't really anticipate there'll be any problems with these. So anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. Hope you like it. If you want, like, subscribe, leave a comment, and as always, thanks for watching.